only the guilty confess to crimes. A phrase that sounds logical until you take into account those odd cases of innocent people who confess to things sometimes truly heinous, things that they never did, from murder suspects to everyday people, especially as Brits, apologising for emotions that aren't even theirs. And if you've ever had somebody bump into you and yet you're the one saying I'm sorry, you'll absolutely know what I'm talking about. Now, a confession isn't always truth, it's survival. And about 5 years ago, I stumbled across a YouTube video of a man dissecting some very famous cases in a way that I'd never seen before. He had no case files, no past involvement in the cases, and no contact with anybody involved. It was just him and a single statement. And his skill was so perfected that he was one of the world's most respected in his field. Watching him work was truly fascinating, and I'm still saddened by the loss of Peter Hyatt. Now, despite his battle with cancer, he never stopped being visible on social media, guiding the likes of me and thousands of others he'd never really met to hone our skills that much more sharply through murder mystery style Facebook posts where we'd all chime in. His encouragement through the comments as we'd pull at the right threads until the bell rang in someone's mind and they'd solved the puzzle. Peter was a true master of statement analysis, the art of dissecting language to uncover deception. And he spent years teaching agencies to read between the lines, finding truth not in what people say, but how they say it. And diving into the origins of this method led me down a spiral of propaganda, lies, and spies, all the way to the Israeli Mossad. And the art form that is statement analysis uncovers subtle cues of deception. Pronoun shifts, tense changes, pauses, unnecessary detail added in all the wrong places. It's kind of like Columbo, Jessica and Poirot underwent some Star Trek style mind meld, and out came this secret tactic, which thanks to Peter was most definitely not secret anymore. But as with all things cool, there's always a dark, shadowy side lurking behind every corner. And in this instance, understanding that language can also be engineered. Coercion can rewire the story until even the innocent sound guilty. And in interrogation rooms, torture doesn't always look like bruises or beatings. It looks like sleep deprivation, guilt, induction, sensory overload, and emotional suggestion. Show a person a photo of a crime scene often enough, tell them you were there, you know you were, deprive them of rest, comfort or hope, and their brain starts building a story to survive the narrative. It starts filling in details that not even the bully boy bad cop had conjured up in their haste to close the case and keep the solve rate in line with the latest governmental KPI drive. And here's where things get personal. The exact same thing happens outside of those interrogation rooms. Every time your mind replays a trauma, every time guilt keeps you awake at 3 a.m, every time you tell yourself it was my fault, despite you knowing otherwise, that's not truth. That's conditioning. It's the same kind of conditioning you use to train your dog to pee outside, your child to sit nicely, or your willpower to stop at 1 mince pie instead of 2. They're both loops of suggestion and fear. Studies have found that over 25% of wrongful convictions include a false confession. And one of the most infamous cases, the Central Park 5, showed how psychological fatigue and fear of further punishment can make people confess to crimes that they never committed. They weren't lying. Their brains had restructured memory to match survival, and it's also why torture is futile. All those secret waterboarding sessions down Guantanamo Bay, forcing innocent people to confess to crimes they knew nothing about. People will say anything to stop the pain. And the same thing happens when you convince yourself that you deserved what happened, or maybe that you made someone hurt you. They weren't lying, and neither are you. Your mind's just been coerced into rewriting the story to help you avoid the pain it believes is lurking round the corner. No matter how many interrogation courses the police take, None can outsmart the voice in your head replaying every what if. It's the master of timing, low jabs, and cruel logic, perfectly positioned to make you feel the punishment is justified. Trauma loops, guilt spirals, and anxiety cycles, they're all forms of psychological questioning. It's your brain trying to help you understand your mistakes so that you can alter your future actions. But those incessant rounds of why didn't I leave? What if I caused it? Was it really that bad? Rather than ease the pain, they dig the knife in that little bit deeper. In the same way coerced confession rewires the nervous system, your emotional self-torture leads you to believe that you're the villain of your own story. And the key to breaking free isn't thinking positive, because let's be honest, you already tried that and it made you feel worse. Don't worry, it's just between us. Now, what you need to start doing is learning to tell the difference between truth and emotional suggestion. Guilt, fear, and shame, they're the loud, insistent voices, the ones that shout at you while you're waiting for the kettle to boil or you're trying to drift off to sleep. Intuition, that's the whisper beneath the noise. It flows in dreamlike flickers, leading you towards places your logical mind would never dare go. But when you start tracking your emotional cues, where they arise, what they connect to, and whether they're yours, you begin rewiring your own statements. The problem, this can be hard, especially when you're all wound up and caught up in the day-to-day emotional turbulence of your life. You're juggling your job, your kids, your relationship, that elusive me time, and all those relatives and friends that you said you'd visit weeks and weeks ago. Now, that's why I created the Intuitive Feelings Wheel, to help you quickly and easily decode the difference between conditioned emotion and intuitive guidance. You don't need to interrogate your emotions, you just need to listen to them. Every feeling is data, not evidence of guilt. And you can use the Intuitive Feelings Wheel to start untangling the story that your trauma's been feeding you and rediscover what's truly yours. With 80 emotions identified, 80 simple quick fixes to right the wrongs, you'll not be left floundering around in the dark wondering how to escape the guilt-inducing psychological torture of your own mind. And you can download it free. The link's in the show notes below, so that you can start rewiring your story right now. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you same time next week. Bye for now.